But let's focus in on Hindustan Zinc. It's been a strong set of numbers, the highest EBITDA since the underground mining transition. Let's talk about their outlook on the cost of production and the zinc prices. Joining in is Arun Misra. He's the CEO of Hindustan Zinc. Thanks so much for taking time out. To begin with, the surge in zinc prices plus the higher volumes, they've led to a huge increase in the financials. First on pricing, let's talk about it because zinc is above $2,700 a ton and silver as well at $24. Do you think that these prices are sustainable, and what's the future outlook basis the kind of trends that we're seeing across the globe?
So, to me, as far as the various reports are concerned, global demand outlook for zinc is around 3% growth will be observed, and it may get a positive upward trend depending upon the success of vaccination, which we are already seeing early success of vaccination in USA and success of vaccinations in rest of Europe. Both the markets should bounce back, and overall growth rate 2.5 to 3% should be visible there. Southeast Asia is largely okay. China is doing well, so global zinc demand should go up by 3 to 3.5%. Indian zinc demand should be around close to 4% or so. We had very good run in Q4 and a bit of a blip in April, but I am sure with the vaccination and the vaccination policy, the way it has been liberalized now, that 18 years onwards, people can be vaccinated and all hospitals, and I am sure it will play very well, and by May 2nd or 3rd week, we will see that the impact of COVID will be largely controllable or manageable, and we will move forward, and good demands will be there in Indian market as well. And the prices, in my opinion, should be balancing out. If some of the old mines start back their operations, between $2,800, $2,900 per ton should be balanced out in the near term.
And what about silver? Because prices of $26 have really not been seen in a long time.
Correct. Silver is a price, is a function of what is people's reliability in other modes of financial investments. So keeping that aside, if the rest of the market or the economy improves, then people go back to investment, other investment options, financial instruments. Silver may go down slightly, but overall, I find as the society moves back quickly after COVID, the demand on silver will go further up, especially pushed by current administration in USA's focus on Green New Deal and their renewable energy. The industrial consumption of silver is bound to grow world over, and which should actually support the prices of around $25 per troy ounce that we see.
Sure. Arun, the cost of production continues to trend lower. However, what one is seeing is that many commodity costs have risen on the other hand. Do any of them affect your cost of production, which is why you've given a conservative guidance this time around of under $1,000 per ton?
Absolutely. There is a push on the commodity side. Cost pressures are there. Cutting across all commodities, the prices are increasing. So we have to go back to our drawing board and renew our resolve in managing consumptions, managing alternative sourcings or replacement of materials wherever possible, like instead of imported coal, more domestic coal and all that kinds of stuff that we would be doing. That's a pressure. And second is the April bit of COVID outlook that has happened, outburst that has happened, does pose some amount of uncertainty in Q1. So looking at both the factors, we have kept the cost guidance below $1,000. But as I have always been saying that we have a DNA of outperforming last year's performance, and I hope to repeat that this year as well.
New projects that have been full-fledgedly implemented in the fourth quarter, and what was their contribution then to volumes? Also wanted to understand what will be in the works for FY22.
So most of the projects related to 1.2 million ton are already over, and we have seen that benefit in the positive uptick in the Q2 and then Q3 and Q4. And if you look at the April stoppages, if we factor that in, instead of 972 KT, our metal in concentrate production, we could have been easily about 1 million ton last year itself. So that shows that the part of the project benefits are already accruing. And metal sides also, the Q4 numbers gives us enough of confidence to go to 1 million ton plus metal side as well. So the projects are fructifying. Some parts of that little bit fumer plant is yet to be commissioned. Overall, quite satisfied with the project work and their contribution to our total numbers.
Now, while the silver EBIT is once again rising, the grade issues at the SK mine continue to persist. What is the reason?
So it's a question of mine and how deeper we go, which particular block that we mine. So it keeps varying, but if you look at our overall reserve, the grades are still promising, and I'm sure this year we have looked at better grades and how do we ensure that. So it's a function of mining, which location we are doing at that point of time. But overall, if we look at the reserve, it will only have a positive movement of better silver grades as well as better grades of zinc and lead.
And finally, you've given a guidance of 1,025 to 1,050 KT for FY22. What sort of a loss in the metal volume are you considering for the first quarter of FY22, due largely on account of the second wave?
I'm not quantifying that, but I do factor in that bit of uncertainty. And I am also hopeful that we would see this vaccination drive in India, how it pans out and the effect on the people and automatically effect on demand and spending by people and correspondingly demand of zinc and all that we'll see. And I'm sure quarter one will, when we meet again after quarter one, it will give me an opportunity to have some positive corrections on these numbers. If things pan out the way I dream of it to go the way I think of it, it will go.
Okay, great to have you on the show, Arun. Thank you so much for taking the time out and highlighting the color on earnings and going forward, the commentary and visibility as well.